Hey Glennis, you ready to tell our friends the top 8 things that researchers have found you should think about before buying a house? I think she's ready. So one thing that you should think about when you're starting to think about buying a house is, what is your reason for that? Are you thinking about buying a house or moving to a new home to keep up with the Joneses, your neighbors, your friends? If that's the case, you might want to rethink it. Buying a house is such a investment, and you really need to be doing it for the right reasons. And whatever those are for you and your family, probably keeping up with other people isn't the right one. You really should think about what kind of investment you're making and the ability and opportunity to have some long-term equity in that piece of property. The next thing to think about when you're talking about buying a house is, how much can you afford? This is a very important question to ask yourself, especially in this really fast market that we're finding ourselves in. And it has been lasting a while, and we don't really see any trends saying that it's going to be going away. So making offers on homes is very competitive. So talking with a lender and figuring out your finances and what you can afford, what your loan can be, what your down payment should be, what your mortgage payments will be, is a really vital part in figuring out if you're ready, if it's the right time for you and your family to buy a house. And when you're ready to start looking, you have that competitive edge of being pre-approved and you know what you're supposed to be looking for. There's nothing more frustrating than going in to see a house and then realizing later it's above your price range and you can't afford it. It's hard to go backwards too and then look at houses that are in your price range at that point. Another important thing when you're looking into your finances is figuring out if you have any debt to pay off. Do you have outstanding credit card debt? Do you have some kind of lien on your current house, or some back debt that you need to pay for and take care of? Do you have a car payment? All of those things make a big difference in what you can afford and will stretch your loan out a little bit better once you get rid of those things. So working with, again, your lender or a financial planner, there's lots of tools that you can get into to reduce debt. That's a pretty great position to be in before you start looking to purchase a home. Another question to ask yourself is, how much savings are you going to have left after your down payment? These aren't very fun questions, but it's important to have at least 6 months to a year worth of reserve funds. And basically, if something were to happen health-wise or job-wise, or you just never know, 2020 has taught us you just don't know what's coming, but you really need to have at least 6 to 12 months of reserves. When you pay for your down payment, did you deplete all that? Do you have enough in that reserve pile to be comfortable in case something happens? I think that's an important thing to review. And if you're not there yet, it wouldn't hurt to wait just a little bit longer until you get to that point. One question to ask yourself once you start into the looking and offer making process is, what's the attraction to the home? You should probably made a checklist of things that were must-haves and things that you just wanted. What about the home that you're ready to make an offer on do you really love? Would you feel comfortable coming home to that home every day for the next several years? Are there huge things that you need to change, and can you afford to change those right now? Or would you have to live with it for a little bit before you make those changes? So really look at the home. Don't rush into it. Figure out if it's the right house for you before you make that offer. One question that we always ask ourselves are, what repairs are needed? Every home buyer should have an inspection done on their home before they finish their transaction. I require that of all of my buyers, the reputable inspector to come through, look at the home, whole home inspection. You might, if depending on the age of the home and whether there are big trees, you may be doing a sewer inspection. You could even end up having a structural engineer come out and look at the structure in the basement and the walls and just the soundness of the home. Really look at that house, and the inspector should give you a list of things that are safety that might be a concern in negotiations, and just kind of a checklist of things that you want to get done as you are living in that home. New things will happen, but it's good to know kind of what's on your list to start. One last question to ask yourself is, will this home work if things change? Kind of piggybacking on that last one, 2020 has taught us a lot. It wasn't happy or pretty sometimes, but there were some good moments. But one thing it did teach us was things will happen that you don't expect in a big way this last year. And will this home work for you if there's a big change? Not many of us expected to have everyone working from home, schooling from home, being at home. Some of our houses worked well for that, some of them didn't. So if you're thinking about buying a new home, think about, what if things change? Will you be in this house? Will it work for you still? If you do lose your job or have an illness, will you be able to afford to keep the home? Those are big, tough questions, and we never know what's in our future. So think through, will it work if there are big changes, or is it only work if you are in it for where you are right now? Oops, she just hit her head. That's all we got for you. So let us know if you have any questions, or if there's any resources or references we can give you and help you along your way. Say bye, Glennis. Bye.